Welcome in Braves country to the Pennant Grace. We're happy to have you here for today's episode. We have lots of fun things to get to, including a giveaway winner announcement, those 2 tickets to the 4th of July game. We're going to talk about the Cardinals doubleheader yesterday, the Pirates this weekend, the White Sox today, and all in the middle of it, we have Reed Taylor, the Duke of Denim.
What's
El
up?
Presidente.
What's up?
To give a state of the union for the Dodgers / outside of the bubble. We appreciate his time here, but we could not do it without our presenting sponsor, Roback. What's that code, Ush?
That is code PG20. I use that code to save 20% on this hat. Is the shirt Roback too? Yes, it is. I'm looking my best for summer. Thanks to our friends at Roback. Couldn't do it without them. PG20 going to save you 20% at checkout.
It's good to see you, Reed.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Reed Taylor, as handsome as he is knowledgeable, and one of the most knowledgeable baseball minds that my co-host and I know.
For sure.
Lifelong Dodgers fan. We both love talking baseball with him. Been wanting to have him on the show for a long time. So, El Presidente, thank you for gracing us with your presence.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. There's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot. There's a lot going on. We're almost done with June, which is crazy to think about.
I mean, it's almost halfway through.
Yeah.
Or is it?
I guess it might be.
We're coming to the halfway point officially. Yeah.
Midpoint of the season.
So before we get into Dodgers, do want to touch on a little bit. Obviously, Braves dropped 2 of 3 from St. Louis, have been doubleheader due to the rain out. But we're competitive in both losses.
Yes, and we
which was
talked
good
about
to see.
that. We said we'd rather lose those kinds of games where we see some fire on the back end instead of just a 2-1 really painful kind of loss. Now, Reed, you have the Braves in one of your fantasy teams as your fantasy team.
Yes, so I'm in a league where we've got 4 teams each.
Okay.
And it was like a snake draft. I got the second pick. Obviously, being a Dodgers fan, I wanted the Dodgers, but that went first. Took the Braves. And then after I took the Braves, I heard Dunaway talk about they were going to win it, and I knew I was doomed.
There's been some speculation about that. Dunaway is claiming he never said that the Braves were going to win, but we all remember him saying that, but no one can find the receipts of it.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Is he got Forrester on his side?
I don't know. Forrester? Can you chime in back there?
Conspiracy theorists out there?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
That's playing it safe.
How about that?
We're going to hear from Forrester a little later when we talk about today's game against his White Sox that got rained out. When was that game originally, Forrester? Back in March? April?
That was back in...
I was going to say April.
Yeah.
April?
I believe so.
It was early.
Yeah.
I remember when they announced the date of the reschedule. I was like, man, that's forever away. And yet here we are.
Yeah.
Day of.
So before we get into Dodgers, a couple notes on your Atlanta Braves.
Let's do it.
And obviously, we're going to give away. The giveaway is today. Everyone, be ready. A lot of buzz in the last 24 hours of the school, which is really cool to see. So someone's going to have a really special 4th of July. The pick is in, and we will reveal that on the show. So Jared Kelenic, I really want to hit on this. We talked about him on Monday, but he continues, had another good series. Mm-hmm. He's batting, I believe, 282. He's like a 214 lifetime.
Yeah.
Jared Kelenic is really – there's nothing more satisfying as a sports fan when you see a guy get an opportunity and then you see them make the most of that opportunity.
Yes.
And that's what he's doing.
Well, we touched on that. And, Reed, we've been talking a lot this year about who's going to be the guy to step up for the Braves because with Ronald Acuna out, Spencer Strider going down, Sean Murphy having a spill, it's just there's been no continuity. And we knew there was have to be someone that was going to take that leadership role. In the last few weeks, it looks like it's Jared Kelenic.
Yeah.
He is performing extremely well at the plate. Obviously, defensively, we knew he had it in him. What are your thoughts as a Dodgers fan on Kelenic, if you have any?
No. Do you remember what I told you earlier in the year?
You told me a lot, Reed.
I was completely wrong. I'll say that because I told you I didn't think he could be an everyday player.
Oh, my goodness. I completely forgot about that.
I was completely wrong. And I saw a lot of his games with the Mariners.
Right.
And he's a big-time prospect coming up.
Huge.
Been up a couple times and really struggled.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of strikeouts. And I did not think this was going to be a great move. But like you said, it's sometimes a change of scenery.
Really
you give a guy an opportunity, and he's playing like it. I mean, he looks like an everyday player for sure.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about his defense. I mean, he's got a freaking hose.
Right.
And that was so desperately needed in the outfield for us.
Yeah, and you said that. I do remember that conversation, and you did say, hey, he's going to be really strong in left field. but the bat in the lineup is going to be so weak, I don't see him being able to maintain a status as an everyday player.
Well, it's like, y'all's GM, AA, he really good with Toronto and had some kind of falling out, then went and worked with the Dodgers in the front office, and then went to the Braves. And he kind of operates like the Dodgers do, but maybe not as much money because of resources.
Right.
But the guy can find talent. And I think he's done it in multiple places where people were down on somebody, and then he's gone, put together a plan, got these guys in, gives them a change of scenery, give them another chance, and he does well with it.
Yeah, I think that's really encouraging as a Braves fan to continue to see that it's not a one-off. It's not just he has success with one guy. It's consistent. What is your opinion on Nacho Alvarez if you have one? He is one of our guys in the farm system that's being really streaky right now. He was called up 2 weeks ago, and there's some discussion to pull him and put him at shortstop.
Well, Arcia, he's struggled.
Yeah.
Sometimes same thing with Austin Riley. You see these guys. You think they're going to come out of it, and I do believe Austin Riley will. He's got more of a track record than Arcia does. But,
yes,
I think sometimes you play it out until the halfway point, and you've given a long time. It's not like a couple weeks, a couple months you've given these guys, so then you start to look at that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Just look at the Dodgers. They got some issues too. Their outfield is a mess right now. And it's, they've got guys like Chris Taylor that's making $15 million a year that's batting 120.
Just really struggling.
Yeah. It's hard to watch.
Right. It is. And for someone that's had the success that he's had, it's pretty inexplicable. And he's had some droughts, as most guys go through before, but nothing like this before.
But let me ask you, because I have watched bits and pieces. Y'all watch a lot more Braves. How's Arcia's defense been?
It's been good.
It's been good.
Really consistent.
Yeah, he's good. I don't think anyone has any complaints on that, but definitely has not been hitting the ball. I'll tell you what, I really want to, looking at the East, this was brought up on the next round today, but the New York Metropolitans, so 8-2, they've won 3 in a row. They are now at an even 539 all and climbing. So Braves 8 back in the East, and then the Mets have climbed to 13 back.
Which puts them 5 back from us.
They're coming. They're already in the wild card race. We see St. Louis, who the Braves just lost 2 out of 3 from. Obviously, they have a wild card spot right now. We've talked at length about that NL Central, how kind of jumbled it is with Milwaukee on top, and then a lot of teams that are really close. Read to your NL West. It's been really fascinating to watch the up and down behind. Now, the LA has been a constant there at the top, and Colorado has been a constant at the bottom. But we've seen the other 3 shuffle around a lot. Before we talk specifically about the Dodgers, amongst the Padres, Diamondbacks, and Giants, who do you see making a run there, and do you see any of those teams possibly getting a wild card? I predicted San Diego. My partner here predicted Arizona, who I still forget that they won the pennant last year. Just one of those that I think a lot of people forget about.
They got hot at the right time last year.
They really did.
That's who the Dodgers had in the first round and completely, swept them.
Yep.
And every game was 4 or 5 run difference. They weren't even close.
Right.
So I think going into it, I was expecting the Diamondbacks to challenge the Dodgers a little bit. I like the Padres. I like what the Padres did, bringing Dylan Cease on right before the start of the year. I thought it was a great move for them. Their offense and their lineup is really, really good when they're healthy. But the D-backs seem like they had that more of a complete team. They brought on Jordan Montgomery, starting pitcher, and paid a lot of money for him, and the guy's struggling big time. So I think their pitching staff's not been great. Their offense has been streaky, but I still think they had the most potential of anybody else.
I agree with that. If you didn't know, Reed in another life was a GM of some sort, and he wants to return to that eventually.
Yeah.
I can see
and
it.
You can see why.
Yeah.
But it's fun to get an outside perspective, especially on the Braves, because really what's funny is that in this office, it's just us that are Braves fans.
Yeah.
Forrester, White Sox, you and Lance, Dodgers. Brown doesn't care.
Yeah, and to quote
he
Cosmo,
did when the Nationals won the World Series.
he cared then. Yeah, and to quote Cosmo Kramer, I don't even really work here. So,
That's so true.
yeah, it is, and that's why we end up having a lot of discussions there. There's talk with Forrester a lot. Also, real knowledgeable baseball guy. He's a White Sox, done away with his Rays. Lance and Reed, of course, both the Dodgers. The Giants are 3 games out of 500. We just saw them here in Birmingham. Mm-hmm. Are they capable of a run?
I thought they were. I mean, I like what they did with Blake Snell. Mm-hmm. I mean, I thought he was a great addition, and he struggled. It's and that's not like we talked about Jordan Montgomery. These guys that signed late, that were waiting on these bigger deals, and they signed late, they're all struggling right now.
Yeah.
And I thought Blake Snell, he's an ace. I thought they would be a little bit better. I think they picked up a couple. I mean, they figured out a couple guys that Ramos is batting second for him now. Mm-hmm. Had a pretty good game at Rickwood. He's going to be a stud. Yeah. I mean, he's really good. They've got good pieces that are young pieces. I thought they did a good job bringing Matt Chapman in at third base. And Jorge Soler. I mean, obviously you guys know that.
Oh yeah.
But they've struggled. I mean, they really have. I think they got talent. I think really every NL West team is playing below average of what their expectations were.
Mm-hmm. That leads me to my next question. You're going to give a letter grade, like you would get in school, including your pluses and minuses. As we approach July, what do you have the LA Dodgers at right now, considering everything they had coming in?
B.
Okay, solid B.
Solid B.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a lot of things, Start the year, they thought Gavin Lux was going to be the shortstop. He had the case of the yips in the infield. They moved Betts over, which was kind of nuts. I mean, he hasn't played infield consistently in 7, 8 years. And he was playing, obviously had a great offense, struggled a little bit defensively, but I don't know what you would really expect when you throw a guy into that situation. And then Ohtani's been great as Blake. I mean, even better than advertised.
Yeah.
But outside of that and Teoscar Hernandez, their outfield has struggled big time. Mm-hmm. I mean, their injuries haven't helped. I don't think Jason Hayward's an everyday player, but he's having to play a lot more than they thought he would. They still got Chris Taylor in outfield who is struggling. I mean, they've got to move on at some point. So, I mean, a lot of injuries, but I think they played well enough with all the rookies they've had to call up and all that.
It sounds like an obvious question because I think we're going to be adding outfield trade deadline too. But I guess the obvious question: do the Dodgers add outfield depth at the trade deadline?
I think they need to.
Yeah.
You never know with Andrew Friedman. I mean, he is very creative. So it also leads back to all these teams are still squarely in the mix.
Right. We talked about
So who's going to be available?
Exactly.
And are you going to have to overpay?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't like the new playoff setup at all because I think too many teams are involved.
Right.
And I think it kills the deadline, which is a huge, for me, it's a lot of fun watching it. Even not just what my Dodgers do. I mean, it's watching everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we've talked about that on this show. It's hard to know at that point who's buying or who's selling.
Yep.
Especially in some of these divisions where it is so close.
Well, I thought the Mets would be selling.
Right.
Now they've turned it on. They're in the mix now.
Right.
Yeah. The Padres feel like the Mets of the West to me
I
in
agree.
the sense of they are committed to win. These are two franchises that are committed to winning. You cannot say those ownership groups aren't all in.
Right.
They're paying money. They brought in tremendous talent, and they've both greatly underperformed up to this point.
Yep. I mean, I don't know what's like. I really thought the Mets were going to be selling, and I thought it would be interesting in somebody like J.D. Martinez, because the guy can flat out hit, but he is strictly a DH, right? So where does he fit? On that trade market now, since he's been back hitting the ball. I mean, he's totally kind of helped that whole lineup. I don't think they're going to be selling. I mean, they're going to be buying now.
Right.
I think they are too, because like we're saying, when you have all these teams, now all of a sudden it's almost July and they're in contention.
Yep. Yeah.
5 games back from the Braves, 13 back from the Phillies. So it'll be interesting. What do you think with your farm system, how it's so much better than the Braves? What do you think you'll be able to get in terms of that?
Their farm system is, I think everybody still says it's a really good farm system. They're deep. and I think it is. But they've had a couple prospects that they've held on to the last couple of years that people really, really wanted, and now they're struggling. And I think that that's the risk with everybody. I mean, you're trying to determine the potential and the value out of these guys in the farm system. I'm more of a person. I'd rather take a chance on somebody that's already proven.
Yeah.
Because I think more than not, these guys aren't going to reach their potential.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, the Dodgers had a catcher, Cartier, that, I mean, he was a top 10 prospect in baseball.
Right.
Number one guy for the Dodgers. His path to the major leagues is blocked by Will Smith. They should have traded him a year ago, but now in the last 2 years, he's batting under 200. And, I mean, he's fallen from the number one prospect to number 10 because they still think he does have the potential, but he's not the same player he was.
Dangerous.
And when do you cut ties with that? Because does he go somewhere else and suddenly
that's the thing is like it is so tough. And that, for these teams that are selling off players, they obviously do their research. They follow these guys. They have their scouts. They do all that stuff, but nobody's a for sure thing.
Right.
No, I agree.
And so it gets difficult.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little about hatred real quick?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's talk about some hatred.
Move on to away from sunshine and puppy dogs. Talk a little hatred. All right, 3 questions for you. Give me the division team that you hate the most, the non-division NL team that you hate the most, and an American League team if you had to pick that you hate the most.
So number one is the Padres now. It used to be the Giants.
Yeah, I was going to say Dodgers-Giants is such a great rivalry.
But when they had Soto,
right,
Machado play for the Dodgers.
Yes, of course.
And Fernando Tatis, they're so
it's a lot of personality.
That is. I mean, and so they like to flaunt it a lot.
Sure.
So that they really started getting on my nerves big time. So they passed the Giants recently. NL team outside of the division, I really started to not like the Cardinals.
Really?
High on my list.
In a weird way. I don't even know why.
There's an arrogance there.
That's what it's that, and also
this
I think
invented baseball kind of thing.
The Cubs are right there though for me too.
Yeah, I get that.
There is an arrogance. I love St. Louis fans though. Like
they have good.
Really good fan base.
They have great fans. It's a great baseball city. It's a great place to go watch a game. All due respect, a great organization, complete and utter respect.
Yep.
But come on,
they're just a little annoying.
It's pretty annoying.
And for my AL team, the most obvious one,
New York Yankees.
Nope. Astros.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Playing the Dodgers in the World Series and all that.
Stole that title from you. Of course you did. That's going to stick in the craw for a while I think. So E.G. and I, being Braves fans, Dodgers-Braves, a good old-school rivalry that's been a great rivalry these last 6 seasons or so as the Braves have been competitive. The Dodgers have been one of the best teams in baseball for even longer than that. And so that rivalry that being renewed. So despite our respect for the Dodgers, which is certainly true, there's that disdain there in a good competitive sense. But even with that, there's always those Dodgers that you say, okay, I like that guy. So, I've mentioned several times Mookie Betts.
Yep.
I just think he's one of the best players in all of baseball. Love the way he represents the game.
Will Smith.
Do not like Will Smith at all.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't mind him.
Okay.
His home run off Will Smith in the
that was
NL Championship Series.
Did not enjoy that.
No, but is that why though?
No, I don't know why. But just certain people you like
He's
and
just
some
a
you
quiet
don't.
guy. That's
He
what I
is.
was
It's just like I think it was just being beat by that guy just bothered me. So I mentioned Mookie, and despite the fear of abandonment that it's given me, I'll always love Freddie.
Right.
Are there any Braves that you look at and say, hey, I don't like the Braves, but I like this guy or that guy?
I like Albies.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think you have to like him.
Albies.
I mean, Austin Riley, I don't know how you couldn't like the guy. He's quiet. He goes about the business.
Agreed.
Also a good next round guest.
Yes, that helps. That helps. I don't really have anybody that I really dislike. Acuna a little bit, just because of what he said about Freeman after he left.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a true dislike.
You know what's funny with all of the Freddie to the Dodgers? That was when Dansby left for the Cubs. To me, that was a worse situation in how Dansby handled it, but I feel like Freddie got more kickback on it, if that makes sense.
Well, it doesn't look good now that Swanson's gone.
Well,
he's batting 220 for the Cubs.
He couldn't hit when he was with the Braves.
Right.
I mean, his defense was what kept him around, but I do feel like Freddie, that whole situation was so just pitiful to watch. And
being a Dodgers fan, I felt bad for Freddie Freeman because, like, there is no doubt everybody knows he wanted to stay with the Braves.
Right.
And I think he was getting bad advice from his agent.
I think so, too.
And I don't think that was clearly communicated what all was going on or the conversations.
Right.
And then he completely was blindsided.
Yeah.
And, and listen, when he first got to the Dodgers, it was like he struggled a little bit, right, coming out of the gates. And, he talked about missing Atlanta. And I'm like, oh, boy, this is going to be a disaster.
Right, and what does that do for you as a Dodgers fan?
Now, I was frustrated when the first part of that
I think
first
his
year.
teammates were.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Kershaw said, hey, we're a good group of guys, too.
Oh, that's another one. I love Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
He's a good
Kershaw's a good one.
Great.
Well, and then he comes back to Atlanta, and he starts getting so emotional.
Yeah.
I was at that game, and it was so painful to watch the whole thing unfold.
I feel like that was like the purging of it all.
Well,
I
it
think
was
so,
the
too.
turning point, I think, from a Dodgers perspective.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that was when he was able to put it to rest. I'm back. I've seen it all. This hurts, but I can move on now.
And when all is said and done and Freddie Freeman retires, number one, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Number two, I think that's a guy that's going to be beloved by two fan bases.
Yeah.
I
And
wholeheartedly
think
agree.
the Dodgers will look at him as one of their own, and I think the Braves will do so as well, welcome him back, open arms, that kind of thing.
Now, I don't think he'll retire with the Braves, though.
Ooh, see, that's what I was just
You're
going
about
to
to
say.
say you think he will?
I think he will. I mean,
don't
what do you
know.
think?
I would absolutely love it to happen, but my partner here says I've been landmining things lately, so I'm not going to say anything
Don't
about
say
that.
anything. But I do think Matt Olson, he filled that role excellently, and
Everyone moved on, and it's worked out fine
It has.
for
No, it
everyone.
has.
But it's just funny to think Dansby, I think what he said about how the Cubs are the best fan base and I've never had a stadium like this, that to me was more abrasive than...
But that didn't bother me because, no offense, but Dansby Swanson's not a Hall of Famer, and Freddie Freeman is.
I mean, that's
And
true.
Freddie Freeman was the guy for the Braves for really from Chipper Jones' retirement until he left and brought a championship back to Atlanta. Freddie Freeman was the guy, and is beloved the Brave as we've seen. He's up there with Chipper and Dale Murphy before he left.
I
But I
agree.
do think he'll be welcome back when he's done.
Yes.
Braves have, like we mentioned, the one-off with the White Sox, and then we have the Pirates. Now, your Dodgers have two division foes. You've got the Giants and then the Diamondbacks after that. So, big stretch for L.A.
No, it is, and it's interesting because I think the Diamondbacks, you'll see glimpses of, hey, I think they're about to turn it on, and then they'll, like last night, they got smoked by the Twins.
Sounds
Right.
familiar.
And Twins have been playing good, don't get me wrong.
They have.
Yeah. But I could see, the way that NL West has been for years, I could see the Dodgers going into San Francisco and getting shut out. Getting swept. Just because of how weird it's been. But the inconsistency, I don't know what to expect with those two teams anymore.
Yeah.
By the way, Minnesota Twins at 44-36, but they're 8 games back, and this was brought up on the next round today, I believe, by your brother Lance Taylor. Why are they back so far? Well, the best record in baseball is the team the Braves played and saw. We saw how good they were firsthand. At 51-27, it is the Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah.
Can you
Still weird for me to say.
name their manager?
Oh, no.
Crazy. First-time manager.
First-time manager?
Retired as a catcher 2 years ago. Stephen Voigt.
Yes, former Brave.
Yeah.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
That's right.
That's
It's
gonna
hard
be
to
darn
remember
though.
that.
Yeah.
I saw some highlights the other night.
That's right.
And I'm like, dang, I forgot Tito's gone from there.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's doing a heck of a job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those teams, again, that just kind of shows you about baseball. You really never know.
Real quick, here's a stat on MLB Network about Jared Kelenic. Average in last 13 games, 352.
I believe it.
That is incredible.
I'm telling you, just risen to the occasion in that leadoff spot.
Well,
It's
he's
been
got his
really cool
confidence
to
right
see.
now, too,
Yeah.
which
And
is
he
huge.
seems to love Atlanta, which
Right.
I adore. Let's bring Forrester in now. We're going to talk about the White Sox. We meet again. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm good. I'm better than my team.
Scott, we don't kick people when they're down here on
No,
the Pennant
we
Grace.
don't.
This is
We
a
don't.
classy show. And B, we're certainly not going to do it to the man that makes us all look good and does so
Yeah.
much for us, and that is Scott Forrester. So, any thoughts that you can give us? Any insight as we got a day game today against your White Sox? Anything we need to be on the lookout for with the Chicago White Sox?
Are the Braves by chance wearing any throwback uniforms?
No, not today that I'm aware of. Yeah.
Well, I don't think the White Sox have any chance.
Okay, gotcha. It all hinges on the uniforms.
You know the backstory there with Chris Sale.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
He was not a fan of that.
That's what got him traded to the
That's
Red
an
Sox.
Understatement, Scott, to say he was not a fan
the
of
White Sox were going to wear some 80s throwback uniforms that he hated, and he literally cut every uniform into pieces.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not just the one he was going to wear.
Yeah.
All of them.
He's a team player, man.
That's extreme.
Hey,
Yeah.
A little bit.
Forrest, let me ask you this. What do you see with your White Sox? Who do you see getting moved?
Anybody with talent.
I mean, it's crazy, though, I think, if they trade Luis Roberts right now.
It is. He's had a rough season. I mean, he's only hitting like $190. But that dude is a superstar.
He is.
Like he's got no talent in that lineup around him.
But if they trade him now, I just feel like they aren't going to get the value for him.
If they were to trade him right now, they better take everybody,
Like a haul.
like everybody's
Yeah.
prospects from somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They ought to fleece somebody.
He's been mentioned for the Dodgers.
Yeah, he's
Right.
been mentioned
Which is
for the
kinda
Braves.
crazy.
Yes. Yeah, I think probably for a lot of contending teams,
Yeah.
he's come up. Scott, if someone at the Disrupt studio here were to not like a new piece of merch that came in and were to take scissors to each of them so that no one could purchase them, who might that person be if you had to pick one?
Be Tyler.
Tyler.
Wow, Lionel.
Stay in for this
How about
question for PG Postscript. So I challenge you guys to come up with the MLB team that you would create, the name, as well as the city it would be in. And we said that the city, there can be a team there, but you really have to justify if you're going to put another city or another team in Atlanta, another team in New York, things like that.
Gotcha.
So who wants to start?
Names are hard.
Very hard.
Nashville, Charlotte, San Antonio, the first three cities that come to mind for me. Being from the area, I'm going to go ahead and say Nashville, and it would not change my allegiance. I'm too, ingrained into the Atlanta Braves. But I would love to see it for the city, and I would hope they would do well. And I would hope it does not have some type of musical pun name.
I
know
would
it
agree
would,
with that.
though.
I know it would.
What
Of course it
like
would. Nashville Rhythm.
The Nashville
strum.
Sounds.
The
That's
Sounds,
already-
the AAA team. I don't
Sounds.
mind that one because of the tradition and legacy there, but that would be my choice, and I think it would be a musical name.
I can see their uniforms now have like guitar strings
Yes.
going down the front of it.
Absolutely.
Buttons are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Chris Sale better not go to that team.
No.
All right, Reed.
I'm kind of with Ush. I was going to say Nashville.
Yeah.
I think Las Vegas is another one.
It is. Yeah.
They could be coming there pretty soon, it seems
Yeah.
like.
Right.
I don't know about a team name. It would be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you do Vegas, you have to do something with the aces, the queens, the kings, something card related. I guess you can do the queens.
Aces is pretty
The
good.
Aces.
Who is the Aces right now?
Who is, someone, but the Las Vegas
might be
aces.
Yeah, the
NBA.
Vegas.
Oh.
Vegas.
That would
WNBA.
be,
Okay.
if you eliminate that and you can just take a name, the Las Vegas Aces,
Yeah.
that would be
It's
pretty
not too
sweet.
bad.
No.
Yeah, I liked talking about the Coyotes in the NHL going to Salt Lake City, and I liked the Mammoth.
I
on
like the
that one.
Yeti.
I like the Yeti too. That was my second favorite.
Yeah, I did like the Yeti.
I like the Mammoth, but yeah,
That was a complete failure, not calling him the Yeti.
Yeah, I agree,
Yep.
Forrester. Thank you.
Yeti
Thank
giveaway
The
night
merch.
would be a big.
It would have been incredible.
Yeah, that'd be a big draw.
And Yeti.
I'm a huge Blackhawks fan, and I'd buy some Yeti gear.
Yeah, and think about Yeti, the company. That'd be a great partnership.
Charlotte's the Queen City. You could see some type of majestic themed
Chess piece.
name of
Yeah.
some kind. I don't know.
Forrester, what would you do?
Oh, I think it's just a matter of time before Nashville has a team, but
So many people keep moving there. They can have them. Yeah.
It's got a little crowded there.
Yeah, getting a little crowded.
But
crowded.
It's interesting to think about. Oh my gosh.
That's
yes,
perfect.
That would be
the pedal bikes.
We could see that happening.
Yeah.
Can you see them doing some promo videos for it?
Yeah.
No doubt.
Man.
Great.
Well, I think it's time to announce the giveaway.
Big time.
Because
big time, everybody.
We extended it, and we had a lot of fun last night seeing y'all's post. Reed, if you did not know, we're giving away 2 tickets.
Oh, that's all.
Know about
That's all.
So it's really exciting, and we've said before, everyone loves the 4th of July. What better way to celebrate? And these are great seats. So without further ado.
Yeah, so keep in mind, this is July 4th.
July 4th.
Against the San Francisco Giants, section 109, row 4, seats 13 and 14. So that is the right field corner, lower bowl. Great seats. Going to be a great game. My parents are going to be there. Going to have a lot of Braves country. It's going to be an awesome crowd. 4th of July, all the festivities. This is
it's going to be incredible. So, Kevin Williams.
Kevin!
You have won.
Kevin!
And you tagged your friend Benjamin McCauley, we'll say. Benjamin McCauley.
Sure.
There you go.
And you guys are going to go to the Braves game. That is so exciting. Now, if you did not win, which is a lot of you guys, do not worry.
Yeah.
There's going to be multiple giveaways in the future. This is our second giveaway we've done in literally 2 months.
Yeah.
And they're just getting better. So thank you, everyone, for participating in that.
Yeah.
And Kevin, if you, for some reason, cannot go to the game, maybe you didn't realize you had plans, let us know, and we'll open it back up.
Yeah, we'll have more stuff coming your way, maybe working in some sponsors. Huge thanks to Ward Smallwood, friend of the show, for that and coming through. Just a tremendous gift. Happy for Kevin and all of those. Thank you for participating.
Yeah, so much fun. Well, Reed, thank you for joining us.
Hey,
on
I
the
had
Grace.
fun.
This was fun. This was more of an MLB-centric show.
Yeah.
We are a Brave spot, but it's always good to look outside of our bubble, and Reed, the Duke of Denim, will be our go-to for that.
Absolutely, and we'll be back like our cadence here. Mondays and Thursdays, 12:15.
And Forrester, thank you for your input. We're excited to watch your White Sox play us tonight.
Yes.
If I was you, I'd be excited too.
There you go.
Tune in on Monday, 12:15 Central. Remember to use our code ROBACK. Gets you 20% off on their website, PG20.
PG20.
And congratulations on the giveaway winners. You guys have fun. Make sure to send us pictures, and we'll be reaching out to you very soon. Perfect.